Mexico City had its beginnings as the ancient Aztec capital Tenochtitlan, built on Lake Texcoco. The conquistador Cortez eventually conquered the city in 1521 and thus began Spanish rule. Over the following centuries, the inhabitants began draining the lake due to increased flooding in the city, even more so once groundwater was discovered to be abundant below. The place that was once known as the Venice of the New World has all but been replaced by the urban sprawl that is Mexico City. Today, Mexico City is the largest metropolitan area in the Western Hemisphere and totals around 21 million people. It is one of the most water-demanding cities in the world that extracts nearly twice as much water as it replaces back into the ground. It should be noted, however, that its water distribution is not quite equal, as you can see from the figures on the right, but we will touch on that shortly. To respond to this need, Mexico City has created a pipeline to transport a majority of its water from the surrounding areas inhabited by various indigenous communities. Up and over the mountains and into the city from the west, it's nearly a 100-mile trip with impressive elevation gains. As the water flows through the city, it is first tapped by the wealthier communities like Miguel Hidalgo and Coajimalpa in the west, then makes its way to the poorest neighborhoods in the east, most notably Iztapalapa. As illustrated before, the wealthiest communities benefit substantially more than the poorest parts of Mexico City. There, the water is just being piped into the city and has not encountered the vast leaking infrastructure which accounts for 40% of lost water. By the time the water reaches Iztapalapa, the taps barely trickle if they manage to run at all. And if they do, the water is usually unsafe to drink due to contaminants. So the citizens in the poor districts rely heavily on daily water truck deliveries. Disposing of waste is no simple task in Mexico City either. It relies on open-air sewage canals to transport the waste out of the city. Land subsidence is the sinking of the ground due to previous years of groundwater extraction. This process is similar to how snow cone ice sinks if you only drink the liquid from the bottom. Land inside the city has undergone this process, which has placed portions of the city lower than the sewer canals, thereby creating a dangerous flooding situation in the event of downpours. There is also no separation between the sewage and drain water either. So, this cocktail of waste is channeled out of the city and back into the neighboring communities, largely inhabited by indigenous peoples like the Otomi, who then use this water to fertilize their crops. All of these effects have a significant health impact on the people of Mexico City. Dehydration, bacteria, viruses, chemical-ridden sewage, these are some of the obvious health impacts. Toxins linked to leukemia, diabetes, and cancer have been found in the waters flowing out of Mexico City, which again are used to fertilize crops. Mexico City also has the highest cases of gastrointestinal infections in the world, as well as the occasional cholera outbreaks like those in the 90s. With the population expected to increase to 24 million by 2050, these problems are not going away anytime soon. There is some hope to all this though. Various groups are working to increase the water quality and availability. The use of an artificial lake to support more people is being conceptualized, like that in Chalco Lake. A wastewater treatment facility to process outgoing water could filter the sewage from drainage. Rainwater collection and repairing the Cutzamala pipeline would also mitigate water shortages and enhance distribution for the future.